Twice. It's the Texans and the Colts coming up next.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air today after. Two clubs here, each looking to rebound from a Week 1 loss as we're underway on EA Sports. And he won't quite make it to the 25. So the Colts now coming out for their opening drive. They'll be led out by the 8th-year passer, two-time Pro Bowler from Mississippi State, Dak Prescott.
And how about the toughness of Dak Prescott? We see it all the time on the field. And remember when he had that serious ankle injury, would he return to form? Boy, did he ever. And he was better than ever, and that's great for the NFL. Terrific resilience, playing at a high level, capable of winning a championship with his arm and his legs.
Well, the numbers for Spears on the ground a week ago. 17 carries, 68 yards, and a touchdown.
Just an all-right day from him last week. He really didn't break out for the huge yardage he had hoped going in. I talked with him before the game, though, and he knows this is a new, fresh opportunity. He's put last week behind him, and his focus, getting some extra yardage with every carry he receives this week.
2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. Looking to throw. Prescott. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
O'Donnell, he's on to punt as he gets this one away. Here's Williams to return. A pretty good punt, but a nice 13-yard return. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. They'll be led out by a man who nearly broke the single-season rushing record for quarterbacks last season. A true dual threat out of Ohio State, Justin Fields.
And he was terrific in the opener, threw 3 touchdown passes, and make no mistake about it, he was eager to get right back out and do it again. So I think we'll see him try to test the secondary quite a bit as this game goes on.
Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a 1st. There was a great article in the paper yesterday about how he likes to run angry. Plays like that, you can feel it, can't you?
As long as he doesn't drive angry, we're okay. Because when he's on the field, that anger works for him. It fuels him.
He's got a man. Complete. Touchdown. DK Metcalf. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Texans are on the board first here this afternoon. Both sides of the football in sync early. You force the 3 and out, and then you take it down, score points.
You know what that tells me? They sold their game plan really well. Head coach said, listen, we're just going to stop them on 3 and out. We're going to take the ball downfield and score. But he also told them how it was going to happen. They're going to run this. We're going to stuff it. Then we're going to take the ball. They won't be able to keep up with us. And they got it done.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped at the 23-yard line. Second drive coming up here for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. Now Charles dealing with a 3rd and long. They'll have to try to go back to the air again, and this time avoid the sack.
Certainly hard to try to establish momentum when all you're doing is going backwards, not protecting the passer, and he gets dumped on his backside.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He throws it on the move, but can't connect as that falls incomplete.
Looks like a second empty possession to start the game, and certainly not the way you want to start when you're coming off of a loss last week. Every team talks about starting fast. They're hoping on their next possession, it can be a delayed fast start and get them going.
That'll go as a punt of 42, 7 on the return.
And the Texans will take over.
So now we get set to see Houston for their second drive of the ball game.
They've got the 7-0 lead. Now they've got the football back after their defense got the stop, CD. And you get the feeling if they could score here, they really have all the momentum on their side.
And left sideline, a dime, and it looks like he's got it. And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. A nice gain of 21 yards.
Well, it's almost as if they didn't leave the field after their first drive. They picked right up where they left off. Another good throw there. And this offense, humming here in the early going.
Walker now on 1st and 10.
Touchdown, Houston.
Ken Walker, his 3rd rushing touchdown on the year. And the Texans are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead.
Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
And now Indianapolis set to take the field. Not only are they in search of their first score, they're in search of their first down in this ball game as they come up 1st and 10.
Now Spears to begin the drive.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Nick Bosa using that speed to get in there and break that play up.
Part of their struggles last week was getting these negative plays on 1st and 2nd down. That's something they have to be wary of as this game continues.
Prescott. And he can't escape, and down he goes.
Micah Parsons showing off that elite athleticism as he gets the sack.
And why do you go out and trade for a guy like this defensively? Well, an instant impact in your pass rush is reason number 1.
And let's think about it. You want a guy who can create big plays for your team. Takeaways, fumbles, you name it. That's what you want from a big-time player on the defensive side of the ball.
Micah Parsons.
2 plays in a row now that he has gotten in there for the sack, and it brings up 4th down. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Man, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. On the return is Williams. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. 34 yards on the return, but for a moment looked like he had a shot to go all the way. And this offense set up with a very short field. 1st and 10 inside the 20.
They'll toss this out right to Walker.
And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. With his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year.
And the Texans have moved out in front by 3 touchdowns. Aubrey now for the PAT.
It's good, and before you know it, it's 21-0. 21-0, our score after 1. Ready for the second quarter from Houston. It's the Texans in possession of the football as they've got it as we resume action. Out is the Texans kick team as they'll send this one away.
Ray McCloud to return. And a nice job there on special teams to limit him to inside the 15 as he's dropped it to 14.
Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over.
Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession. But I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer because only a few teams in league history have ever come back from a 4-score deficit. And if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
And he coughs up the football near his own goal line. And they will bring this one back. A fumble return for a Texans touchdown.
Charles, they are putting on a show right now. I mean, with that fumble return for the touchdown, you think about the size of this advantage. Heck, it's a 4-score game right now, and we're still in the first half.
And that has to be the highlight, Brandon, with how infrequently we see fumbles return to the house. But if you aren't inclined to pick this as the game signature play so far, you do have no shortage of alternatives to select from. This has been nothing short of a clinic. And as noted, we still have a half a ball to play.
Now the extra point up and good by Aubrey.
And that makes the score 28-0. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score.
And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
Here comes the Colts offense now as they make their way onto the field.
They're still in search of an initial first down as they come up here 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground with Spears.
And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Prescott's throw into the hands of Lockett.
So give him 5 yards there on the pitch and catch. And this will wind up being a 3rd and 3.
Some think that teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
Yeah, this will be caught by Mooney.
And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. It's his first catch, and it'll be good for 15 at a first down.
When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they hit.
And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground.
Nick Bosa gets him for a loss of 8. What great push up front. Well, Charles, this has been something to watch so far. This is where you really feel for a quarterback. He's been running for his life in this first half.
Brandon, that's 5 sacks already, so you know he's got to be saying, can we get some more guys in here to block, please? Because if we don't, we're going to need another quarterback.
They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. Prescott now.
That one's taken in by Spears.
Call it a gain of 3 on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. The linebackers nowadays, they run like backs, and they take a lot of pride in covering.
And he's going to be brought down here in the backfield.
Micah Parsons in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action.
So on 4th down, on is the punter, Pat O'Donnell, to kick it away. And no return here. This one's going inside the 15 to the 12-yard line.
Kenneth Walker headed back out there.
And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the second quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards I had.
Right.
Those guys have an innate sense of where they are in a ball game and how many yards they've accumulated, because you know they're always working towards 100.
He's been working well towards 100 here. A big change in field position there. That's 40 yards on the catch and run.
This offense is looking very comfortable here in this first half. Very relaxed, very smooth, very efficient. No wasted motions. Things are definitely going their way, and they continue to move the ball downfield.
They'll let this go deep for Waddle.
And this is caught. Touchdown, Houston. Jalen Waddle, his third touchdown now on the year.
And the Texans are able to add on to their first half lead.
This offense certainly looking a lot more comfortable here at home. They lost last week in the opener on the road, but there's something about that home opener makes you feel more settled.
Yeah, I wish we could quantify it, too, because you're playing the same game. The field's the same, size. We know all of that. But being at home, sometimes when you do things well, you get that extra push from your home fans, and it elevates your game.
And in the driver's seat right now.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20.
And the Colts coming out now.
And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp, and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
The Colts going to use the first of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. They come up on second and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. And he coughs up the football near his own goal line. And what else could go wrong at this point? This is going to be a defensive touchdown as they keep piling it on. So that is now 2 fumble return touchdowns. And you talk about something that's going to drive a head coach crazy.
Without a doubt. But for the defensive guys, once you do it once, you create a frenzy. Everybody wants to get involved, and they got it done a second time.
Aubrey good with a PAT.
And the route is on here in this first half. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return.
And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Colts going to take over now late in this first half. Things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now. Maybe if they can get something on the board here before intermission, they'll have at least a little momentum heading into the second half.
This defense not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
A second down throw for Prescott. Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack.
Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles. And that front 7 defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance. They've got to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker.
Well, everyone's eager to resume play here in this Week 2 contest, so we push right through halftime and back at it for the start of quarter 3.
Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. It's the Texans in front, and they're going to get the football first as we are back underway in the third quarter. Williams to return. Escapes the defender. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. Still going past the 30. And he'll bring it back all the way. Touchdown, Texans. People still trying to get back to their seats from the concession stand here at the start of the third quarter, and boom, we got points on the board.
And you just identified why the bulk of stadiums have increased presence in the concession areas, right? TVs, loudspeakers, so people can still follow the game. And right now, they're bummed out that they missed that big return to start this half.
Aubrey now for the point after.
And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. And no doubt one of the most, if not the most exciting play we'll see in this game. The kick return all the way to the end zone for 6 points. So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff.
And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line.
Here's the Colts now as they get ready for their first possession on offense of the second half.
On 1st and 10, it's Spears.
Yeah, he's able to push his way forward somehow for a gain of about 2 yards. Second down now.
This defense just continues to bottle up that ground game. And look, I mean, the deficit right now for this offense is so big that it might not matter. But you're still in the third quarter. They're probably going to have to try things through the air, Charles.
I agree with you totally. That's what they'll have to do. They do need to run it occasionally to take a few hits off the quarterback, because right now, you just know those pass rushers are fired up to get after him.
A third down now. Those last 2 plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points.
Can't get away, and he's taken down.
Multiple defenders getting home there for a loss of 11.
It's been a tough one all game long for this offensive line. They're already down big, and now you know they're just going to come after the quarterback in a big way, don't you?
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way right now. It's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them. Taking on the midfield logo. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the Texans with great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. So here are the Texans to take over. They were losers a week ago to Baltimore, but they lead things here as they start 1st and 10. Play action. It's Fields. He's airing it out for Williams. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
Meanwhile, Fields' throw going into the hands of Williams.
They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. On play action, Fields. Able to find the open man. That's complete.
And he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Everything's been going right here in this one. This offense, they've been in complete control from the outset. And here's another big play. These kind of routes have been open all game long, and they continue to take advantage.
Walker is into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. Vermont. Not this start to a season. I mean, it doesn't get much better. 2 touchdowns, remember. 3 more here. This is some kind of pace to put yourself on.
Are we going to go ahead and look ahead and say 4 next week? Is that too much to ask for? That's what he's dreaming about right now. That's what his team's thinking about. But boy, what a start for him.
Now the extra point up and good by Aubrey.
And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it. The Colts set to take over here offensively. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39.
We're just looking at the scoreboard and where we're at in the third quarter. I don't know that it's going to matter much at this point, CD, but these small runs on the ground, they're not going to get it done.
No, they're not. And right now, the guys stopping the run have been superior in this ball game, giving them no openings, no seams, and now they've got this game well in hand.
First target, first catch, and a first down. Final minute now of the third quarter.
And here's a give to Spears.
And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Here's a 2nd and 8.
Now Dak on the option left. And he stopped immediately there.
Holding offense.
So no gain on the play. They'll decline the penalty to not give him the down back.
And were you thinking to yourself that maybe they would take the yardage there?
Yeah,
because
possibly.
I definitely was. But as you noted, maybe they're just looking at the downs chart and saying, okay, we're comfortable where we are.
Back now in Houston. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. The line to gain is the 33 on third down. Here's Prescott. And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe.
Aiden Hutchinson picks up his second sack of the afternoon.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now. He'll boot it away from about his 35. And this will be taken at the 13. And there he goes again. Touchdown, Houston. One of the more impressive punt returns you will see. That one from 87 yards away. And the Texans add 6 more to their point total.
And they're on cruise control right now here in the fourth. Aubrey now for the PAT.
And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Well, it's no secret. That's why they have him return punts. He has the capability to take them back, and he did so there. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff.
And he'll be brought down right on the chalk of the 20.
And now Indianapolis set to take the field.
Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Meanwhile, the throw here is complete, and he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Prescott to throw it. And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. Quinnen Williams able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
Guys with his talent in the pocket aren't supposed to be getting hit like this, and you know an intense conversation with the offensive line is going to occur after this one. Might not be from him, but the offensive line coach will have plenty to say about this game.
Second down, Prescott.
And that almost their first INT of the ball game. Had his sights on it, but he couldn't seal the deal.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
Escapes the... Oh, Prescott stripped.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
And yard line, great field position here in the red zone.
Well, partner, I think it's safe to say they can mark this down as extremely frustrating. Here we are in the fourth quarter, and that last play, that turnover, I think it epitomizes what happened to them all day on offense.
So symbolic, and that's why they're still being shut out. Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete.
But Charles, they're still airing it out at this point despite that huge lead. And some people may be saying, well, why are they throwing the football? These guys, I guess, are just padding their stats at this point.
Yeah, there are a lot of big green.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Things are rocking easy here in the fourth quarter. They've got to feel pretty good about this one. Actually, they've got to feel excellent. Tough loss in the opener. No way they wanted to go 0-2.
I don't want to read too much into it, but psychologically, is there something much bigger about 0-2 than 0-1?
Oh, without a doubt. And here's the biggest one. Guys like you and me, all the media, are going to talk about, well, you know how hard it is to make the playoffs when you start 0-2. Yep. And that starts to work its way through a team.
And now they're working towards 1-1.
Aubrey good with a PAT.
And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17.
The Colts now, their offense works their way back onto the field.
At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the fourth quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like, what feels good?
Oh, a ball batted in the air, and now it's intercepted.
Picked off by Quay Walker.
And he'll get this back to the 32-yard line. Yet another mistake after the interception there. And gosh, you look up at the scoreboard, they just got to be thinking this one cannot get over fast enough.
It certainly can't. And also what happens when you get this big of a deficit, you're supposed to make all the right throws, right? You're supposed to try and obviously get the ball to your own guys. But being down this big, you also take even more chances. And in this situation, that hasn't paid off for them at all.
On the other sideline, jubilation and laughter. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. And they have just about put this one on ice as they've got it here, 1st and 10.
Here we go, son. Go.
That one looks like he'll throw here. And he's going to go down. Sacked right around the 17. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
Well, that's not how you hope to draw it up there on 1st and goal, CD, by taking a sack like that.
Well, they tried to be aggressive, didn't they? They didn't want to try and work their way past the goal line. They wanted it right there on that play. Unfortunately, it backfired against them. Now they have to try and pick it up here moving forward.
Fields.
Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Well, let's face it, not a lot left for them to prove in this game, but they're still throwing the football. I guess, of course, CD, you know, you could always get the backup some work. There's new plays to try out. But some people, let's face it, they just want to run the score up. It's fun.
I love the way that you expressed that because you gave plenty of reasons why people like to do things. But ultimately, they just like to keep their foot on the gas, and they just want to tromp on teams. And what I like to see is, if you like to do that, how do you handle it when it comes back against you? On those days where someone can run it up on you, do you handle it the way that you expect your opponent to? If so, keep doing your thing.
And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
So, Charles, the bad taste from that opening week loss, that's just a memory now. This has been a very strong performance as they score once again.
Yeah, I know it's only week 2, but you're exactly right because this team felt like they let one get away in the opener. And not only were they determined to not let the same thing happen here, they knew that they had to correct a bunch of things. So everything went wrong in game 1. They took care of business with it in game 2.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line.
Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over.
Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
A first down throw for Prescott. That's caught by his tight end, Gerald Everett. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. A good pickup there, a 22. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Prescott now from the 50. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble.
A lot of bad news on that play for them, wasn't there? Lost the football, lost a lot of yardage, but I think the good news outweighs it. Able to retain possession. That was big for them.
Oh, Prescott stripped.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
And they have the football and will set up shop at the 33-yard line. The Texans going to signal for their third and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. So they'll come up first and 10 now from the 33.
Here we go.
Following the fumble recovery, Fields. He's airing it out for Williams. And give him another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues.
Well, when they said before the game that they were going to try and execute every second of this contest, I guess that was taken literally because here they are in the final moments of the fourth, putting another touchdown on the board, Charles, to add to this big lead.
I'm not a big believer in 110%, but it certainly applies here, doesn't it? Because some guys just can't go with less. As long as there's time left on the clock, they're pushing to get to the end zone one more time. They don't really care about what the optics show. They just want to finish the game off the way that they like to play it. Full speed, all out.
And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line.
The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
He's going to let it fly. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Go out with their tails between their legs. They're going to keep taking their shots until the clock's at triple zeros. But that one, like a lot of others, winds up incomplete.
One last shot now for Prescott. And that
is going to officially draw the curtain on this one as the last throw intercepted. And they will score a pick six for the Texans TD. But not only is his defense pitching a shutout, now they're contributing points themselves. I mean, they have really put together what's almost been a perfect effort here in this one.
I love how you express that. They've absolutely exceeded expectations in this one. And even better than their play, it's been their effort. Even with the win in their back pocket already, every one of those guys is still out there fighting like it's a tie.